thanks for everyone for attending today, and all those watching online, thanks for watching. We will first begin with approval of the minutes. These minutes were handed, actually no, we will begin with additions to the agenda. I forgot about that. Does anyone have any additions to the agenda? I would like to add one item. Item number 12 will be dispatch finance negotiation update. And then with that addition, I will entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
I'll give it to Paul. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I got a second from David. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Agenda is adopted. Now we will move on to approval of minutes from April 22nd. These were handed out prior. Does anyone have any additions or deletions to the minutes as presented?
This April or May?
April.
April.
Yes,
Right.
these are April's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we said-
I'm catching up.
Okay, I thought we acted on these last time. but-
No.
Any additions or deletions? If not, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Next, we have comments from the public. We have one person signed up. Does anyone else want to sign up to talk? Okay. Celia Farron, you can come up to the microphone. If you still want to speak.
No, I do.
Okay, yeah, just step up to the microphone and then just introduce yourself and what city or town you live in.
Celia Farron, Tell City, work at the news. The reason I'm here, and I don't know the procedure, so bear with me. The ARP money that's coming to Perry County, and what part of that might be going to mental health and substance abuse. I think our cover speaks for itself. I'm currently in recovery myself, and I just want to make sure that if there are funds available and there's a committee appointed and all those things that you guys put together to make sure that happens, that it happens, I wouldn't even begin to try to say that I know much about how local government works. I don't want to know how local government works. But if there's money for something like this, I think we could use it. Rockport, the small town of Rockport, has 3 sober living houses. In Rockport, we have none. Early education is something that I would love to see happen within the schools, middle school. So these are just my ideas, but if there's money for substance abuse and mental health, we might need to see if we can allocate some of that. So that's why I'm here. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will just say, add on to that, the U.S. Treasury did release updated guidance on June 23rd. They put out a new FAQ, so stuff is happening pretty quickly. So you can always check the Treasury's website for information about the ARP. And behavioral and mental health is an allowable expense. So, all right. Next item is transfers. We have none. So the next item, item number 5, additional appropriations. The county general fund and the county commissioner's budget, $5,500 for county car expense. This is for the 2014 Chevy Tahoe, plus a collision deductible, plus $500 to cover us through the rest of the year. Does anyone have any questions for the commissioners or Teresa or anyone?
Didn't we talk about this last meeting?
We talked about a motion of intent, so now we have to
Okay.
officially do
Okay.
the appropriation. Yeah.
I'll make the motion we allow it.
Okay. Do I have a
I'll second.
Oh, no.
I get 3.
I don't need to second.
Who was it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll give it to Erla. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next item on the county general fund is park maintenance and repair under the Parks and Recreation budget for $4,438. This too was a motion of intent that we gave last meeting. It is for those expenses as discussed last meeting. Does anyone have any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the additional.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next item on the agenda under additional appropriations is the prisoner reimbursement incarceration fund under the Perry County Jail budget. $70 for the overpayment weekend fees. Basically, it is what it says it is. It was an overpayment.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Do you have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next additional appropriation is in the county health fund within the Perry County Health Department budget. Scroll. This is $10,000 for overtime wages. Pam, do you mind explaining this?
Well, this is another $10,000 that you did a motion to attend at the last meeting also, because we pretty well just about went through the first $10,000 that was appropriated. So this is to continue on with the overtime, and we could do another $10,000 out of the health department that's inside the levy without hurting our expenses at this point. So,
And any leftover funds will fall back into the health cash.
this is to get us through going forward yet, yes.
So, does anyone have any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the additional appropriation.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next additional appropriation is in the edit fund under the Perry County Commissioners. This is $67,000 for Industrial Park South Entrance Road improvements. I believe we did a motion of intent at our last meeting on that, so this is just officially appropriating that money.
I'll make the motion, we allow it.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next additional appropriation is in the Community Crossing Fund, Perry County Highway budget. $170,855.27 for county road improvements. Does anyone have any questions for Steve while he's here? Okay. If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next is in the TIF number 3 allocation fund.
Tip number 1.
TIF number 1?
Yes.
Okay. Whoops. TIF number 1 allocation fund for capital improvements. This is the publication of legal notices for $200. This is for advertising. And as we discussed, I believe at our last meeting, the county council now has to approve all additional appropriations out of TIF funds. So, that's what this is.
Make the motion, we allow it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do we know what advertisement this is for?
Like the additional that they may
Okay.
have, or any ordinances or stuff that Chris or somebody may have to
Okay,
have.
as they're just kind of setting some
Yes.
stuff. Okay, gotcha. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Making sense down here. All right, item number 6 on the agenda is the appointment to the Local Justice Reinvestment and Advisory Council. This is a new council put together by the Indiana General Assembly. The commissioners have an appointment. We have an appointment as well. I could serve on it, or I could designate someone to serve on it. Councilman Danny Bolin currently serves on the advisory board, Community Corrections, and I've asked him if he would be interested in serving on this board as well. And he has agreed to that. So I would entertain a motion to make Danny the designee for the county council.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Danny. All right, Next item on the agenda is the American Rescue Plan Act Committee appointment. The county council has a single appointment to this committee. We received a list of appointments list of letters from people. Those people are Adam Everard, Kelly Harding, Kevin Achen, Lena Goffnet, Dr. Will Markham, Joe Herman Jr., Tara Damon, Sherry Flynn, and Aaron Emerson. So we will need to nominate one of these individuals. Under Robert's Rules of Order, we just need a nomination. We do not need a second. A second is just an endorsement of the nomination. So at this time, I'd open up the floor for a nomination for this appointment.
I would like to nominate Sherry Flynn.
Okay? I will second that as a motion of support. Does anyone have any other nominations?
How many members does ARP board have on all total?
It will have 7.
Okay, and how the breakdown? We have appointment.
So
commissioners have-
Charlie and I are serving as representatives of the council. We will
Okay.
pick a member of the public. The commissioners have 2 commissioners, a member of the public, and then the committee will make a joint appointment.
Who all else is on it?
It is Charlie and I, Commissioner Hauser and Commissioner Jarbo. Have you guys picked they haven't picked their appointment yet,
You have or have not?
Have not, it would be next meeting.
so. All right, hearing no further nominations, I will close the nominations, and we will vote on the nominee of Sherry Flynn. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
I'm abstaining on this.
Okay. Motion carries 6-0 with 1 abstention. Thank you, Sherry. And then Danny, or Charlie,
Yes.
would you like to make a statement as to who we would want on as the joint appointment
Yes,
between you
I'd
and
like
I?
to nominate our name to be sent to the commissioners for your consideration as our co-member from the commissioners and the council, and I nominate Tara Damon.
Okay. We won't take any official council action. That'll just be your and I's.
Right.
I agree with that statement. So, all right. That is sure.
When will we pick the joint one? Well, how are we gonna do that?
The first meeting, I would think, right? The
Should
first
be.
joint meeting.
Do what?
I would think the first joint meeting.
Is that how we wanna do that? I mean,
Or it'd have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We could have that right after the next commissioners meeting if you wanted to. You and Charlie would double.
I'll be there as next Tuesday, correct? Or the 6th?
Yeah. We'll work that out logistically.
Okay.
Because I would think the 4 of us are the ones that actually picked out.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, and Tara is the name we are submitting.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Councilman Charlie Baumeister discussing liaisons and the department budgets.
Yes. As you know, the council have been divided up as liaisons to different department heads. And my 3 are the auditor, the clerk, and the highway department. I've already met with the auditor and the clerk, and I'm setting up time to meet with Steve just to talk to him about next year's budget, any big changes they may have so we can be aware of it. Fortunately, I have a lot of free time, so I'm able to do that. And I know other members on this board don't have as much time. And all I'm asking is I'd like for you just to reach out by email to the department heads to see if they can give you just a little statement of what the major changes that they're looking in their budget so we can be prepared. And that's really all I have regarding that.
Okay. I think it's a great idea. And if you need to know who your departments are, I still have that list. So we can talk about that. Okay. Thank you, Charlie. Next item on the agenda is the review of the county tax abatements. We have to approve it's not the SB1, it's the
the CF1.
CF1. So Perry County currently has 20 active tax abatements. And I will go through these really quick to just kind of talk about the year we're on and the percentage. Well, really quickly, there's 20 of them, so it might take a little bit. So, or is there 21?
No, 20, because that's the one.
Oh, okay.
That they're on their 10th year.
Okay. So the first abatement is with Indiana Municipal Power. They are on year 6. And they're getting is this percentage 60% they're abated?
Yes.
Okay. And they're at the 60% mark. ATTC is on one abatement is on year 9 and they're 10%. The next one is ATTC Phase 6 on year 9 and 10% abatement. Next ATTC one is on year 3 with 50%. Next one is year 3 with 50%. The next 3 are actually on year 3 with 50%. The next 2 are on year 4 at 70%. The next one's on year 5 at 60%. The next one is on year 4 at 70%. The next 3 are on year 5 at 60%. The next 3 are on year 7 with 40%. The next one on year 8 at 30%. Next one on year 9 at 20%. And that is all of them. So a majority of them are still pretty young, at least only 5 years old. So, all right. So now we can either take all these CF1s individually. If we want to take them all together, we certainly can. It's kind of up to you all. These were sent out a while ago, so you hopefully had time to review them. If you have any questions on any one, we can discuss them. How do y'all want to do this?
They do all seem to be in compliance.
They were all turned in time.
That was my question.
I think you want to do Indiana
Sure.
separate and the ATTC.
So yeah, we'll take these separately then. We'll take Indiana Municipal Powers abatement, and then we'll take ATTCs all together. How about that?
That'd be good.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to approve Indiana Municipal Powers CF1 for 2021.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And I will say on this one that in 2019, we sent this back to them over some clerical errors on their original SB1 where they said the assessed value would be worth 1.78 million, and that was a mistake. That was the cost of construction. So the abatement was sold to the council at that time at a value of 1.78 million, and it's not even close to that in assessed value. But that's that clerical error that happened. So I've got a motion. Do I have a second? Earl, second
I
that? Okay,
second.
sorry. Any discussion? I guess I should have waited. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have all ATTC manufacturing abatements. I would entertain a motion to approve of all CF1s for ATTC for 2021.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Well, that was fun. All right, next item on the agenda. We are speeding through this. Motion of intent on detention center salaries. So, back in January and a couple times since then, I had reached out to the council. I had met with Sheriff Malone and Chief Deputy Dickinson about this issue with the detention center staff. They have received hazard pay with CARES Act money last year. This year, there's been nothing set aside for them, and they're having some issues with that retention issues, and they're still having trouble hiring people. So this started back in January, kind of slipped through the cracks, but now we're at a time where we can hopefully do something for them. So I have proposed, I've worked with Charlie and the auditor Pam. We are going to propose a $1,100 stipend or supplemental wage effective, it's going to be effective July 1st, the end of this year. It's for these 6 months solely. $1,100 comes out to about $183.33 a month in additional wages. This would be a total appropriation of $18,900 coming out of the inmate housing fund. If we approve this additional, there will still be at least $60,000 in the inmate housing fund, and the lease payments already been paid for this year, so we're sitting comfortable there. But they have not received anything for all their work through the pandemic of this part of this year. 2020 was different, but nothing this year, so I think this is a deserving supplemental wage for them. And do you want to speak to that at all?
I thank you for your work on this from the sheriff, on behalf of the sheriff, and on behalf of the detention center employees. But thank you.
All right, so does anyone want to discuss this? Like I said, it's $1,100 for each employee, a total additional of $18,900. That includes Social Security and retirement, and this still leaves the inmate housing fund with $60,000. And this is only effective July 1st through the end of this year.
You said plus the Social Security and retirement, right?
Yeah, that includes that. So if there's no discussion, I would entertain a motion of intent to approve an additional appropriation in the amount of $18,900 for supplemental wages for the detention center staff.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right. Next item on the agenda is a review of a finance study. So I came across this study by the Indiana Fiscal Policy Institute. It actually came out June 2020, but with the pandemic kind of slipped through the cracks. But it's titled Capacity Cost Indexes for Indiana Local Governments 2002 and 2018. And it's by the Larry DeBoer of Purdue Extension. He does a lot of great work with local government. And I just kind of wanted to highlight a couple points from this, especially at this point in time that we are in right now. So briefly, I'm just going to read a little part of the summary. The Revenue Capacity Service Cost Index measures the ability of local governments to provide public services at average tax rates. The method uses county-by-county taxable income, property values, and state aid for schools and roads compared to per capita cost, adjusted for the percentage of the county population living in cities and towns versus unincorporated areas, along with factors like school enrollment and road miles. The Capacity Cost Index distills this data into a single value. A negative index means more difficulty covering expenditures without raising taxes. A positive index means more flexibility to adjust taxes and spending though all local governments operate under state-imposed limits on income taxes and property tax levies and bills. So Perry County, and according to this study, has the 8th lowest index score in all 92 counties, with a negative $270 index score. That's equal to a negative 9.34% of the $2,890 that's the average of the state. So basically what this means is that local governments in Perry County can provide the average level of service at higher tax rates, or provide less than average levels of service at average tax rates. And we are basically at the same level we were in from 2002 to 2018. So overall, the fiscal condition of all units of government in Perry County really hasn't changed, and it's still not really good. And one part of that is they studied manufacturing, and they said that long-term declines in traditional manufacturing employment limited capacity growth in many industrial counties. A large number of Indiana counties have heavy concentrations of manufacturing in the 1970s, but job losses over the next 40 years limited growth of taxable income and assessed value. This widened the gap between revenue capacity and cost. Increased property tax rates caused large revenue losses to tax caps, especially in places that weren't as successful in replacing jobs with employment in other sectors. So from 1972 to 2017, manufacturing and employment in Perry County dropped by at least 7.5%, but the average of all the counties that we were studied with was 22.5%, so I don't know our exact drop. And total employment rose by less than 15%, so we also didn't grow our jobs in other areas. So basically, what this means is we're still not in a good financial place, and our negative 270 is the 8th lowest score in the county, or in the state. We're not the worst, but we're definitely nowhere near where we need to be. And what this means, like I said, a negative index means difficulty covering expenditures without raising taxes. So that's kind of in the place that we are right now. And like I said, this is called Capacity Cost Indexes for Local Governments 2002 and 2018, and it's available online. It's a really good read if you like that kind of stuff. And then kind of tagging on to that, the Census Bureau released the 2020 population estimates. These aren't the official census counts. But for Perry County, the population was down by 30 people for 2020. And since 2010, we were actually down 1% based on these census estimates. So there's some more data for you. But just kind of want to talk about that since it kind of, and with COVID and the effects that it's going to have on revenues and context of this really low score that we have, we're going to have some tough decisions probably in the next couple of years in terms of finances. So just want to talk about that a little bit. And then the last item, number 12, and it's only 5:30, is dispatch finance negotiations update. David and I met with representatives of Tell City, Candleton, and Troy last Wednesday? Last Tuesday? Some time ago. Yeah, was Tuesday. The meeting went pretty well. We have some more to discuss, and I think we're going to be having a meeting next week to kind of work out some kinks that we still have. But I think things are going rather well. So that's that on dispatch. And with that, that's the end of the agenda.
Did you get the data on the dispatch about the number of calls?
Yeah, you should have.
On population, or is it based on number of calls from, like, say, Troy or Candleton or county versus city limits, or?
You should have gotten those statistics in an
That was
email.
emailed to you.
Okay, I got a bunch of empty pages here.
Okay, I can forward those to you again if
Okay.
you, put them at the top of your inbox.
And who is it at this meeting?
At the last meeting, it was David and I, Mayor Kale, Larry Kleeman, and Gary Morton of the Common Council, and Clerk Treasurer Connie Berger was there taking notes. It was Linda Crawford from Troy and Pooter Lenny, is that? Yeah, from Troy. And then Mayor Ralph Terry was there from Candleton, and Bob Olverding, who's on their city council, was there as well. So that's who had that first round of discussions. And I think things went pretty well, but we need to meet again. So, anyone have any questions or? All right, well then, with the agenda complete, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Have a second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, everyone.
Do what?
Yes, I think so. That was so fast.
Do we have stuff to sign?